you're able to get a player that can be a Major League Baseball player, like it's real. We've never had the combination of someone being drafted, Major League Baseball in the first round and the NFL in the first round. So I think him and his team, they're going about it the right way, because now is the time before the combine because we have so many staff changes, but never in the history of the NFL have we had as many offensive-minded coaches. We got 8 new coaches. So now would be the time for someone like Kyler Murray, with his style, coming off the excellent Heisman Trophy season there at Oklahoma, to be able to make that jump. And there's real pressure for him to be able to play baseball, where he's already gotten over $1 million. He's got to write a check for $1 million to be able to make this process so that he doesn't go to the A's. So I like the decision. I think now is the time, not only based on the coaching staffs, not only being the NFL is the offensive dominated league, but because of the rule changes. That his size, especially if he gets out of the pocket, they're not going to hurt him as much. Now, we know that the rules are for the quarterbacks in the pocket, but you still can't brutalize a quarterback outside the pocket in the NFL. So I think his throwing motion is very good. I think he's a better quarterback than the quarterback we saw in Lamar Jackson. We saw Lamar Jackson have success in Baltimore as the last pick in the first round. I can understand why Kyler would make this decision, and I believe that he does have a bright future in the NFL.
I hope I'm wrong about this, but I think Kyler Murray is going to end up playing baseball at some point, because I do not think he is a starting quarterback in this league, only because he would be the first. He would be the first guy at his size to be successful as a starter in this league. They compare him, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson. So I looked up the combine numbers. Drew Brees, 6 feet, 213 with 10 1/4 inch hands. Russell Wilson, 5'11", 204 with 10 1/4 inch hands. Baker had the smallest hands, 9 1/4 inch, but he's 6'1", 215. Kyler Murray is going to measure in under 5'10", and he's 195 pounds listed. So he's at least 10 pounds and more than an inch shorter than the shortest guy in Russell Wilson, who had abnormally large hands for a guy of his size. At no point when I watched the University of Oklahoma this year did I ever think I was watching a future pro quarterback. I thought I was watching a spectacular college quarterback. And I think NFL teams are going to trick themselves to a degree. And I wonder if Kyler Murray was the exact same player, but in last year's draft class, where we had a multitude of quarterbacks that were projected first-round picks, would he be a guy that we would be discussing the way we are today? I saw the commentary yesterday, once this came out, was a Dolphins writer was saying the Dolphins could want him at 13. And the general feeling was, oh, he's not going to be there at 13. So it's not only that he's going to be a first-round pick, but that he's supposed to be a top 10 pick. And I wouldn't be surprised if the conversation moves to a top 5 pick.
So you just believe just because of his height? Because I don't hear you say anything else, just his height.
Absolutely. I think there is a minimum threshold. I think it's like,
I would rather a guy be short than a guy who can't throw. And we got a couple guys who are not accurate throwers of the football, and Lamar Jackson, I don't know what you call what he's doing right now. So for me, I would much rather have a guy who can throw and is short to attempt to be the first guy to do that than these guys who, Josh Allen, he's got a big time arm. He's the prototype size and everything, but he's also the prototype to be the next Blaine Gabbert or Blake Bortles.
But if you remember on Josh Allen, I was saying I wouldn't spend a first-round pick on him either. Like, I try to be for very different reasons, because he checked all the height measurables boxes, but he never completed 60% of his passes in high school. So I didn't think he was going to get accurate come the NFL. I have a hard time believing in guys doing something that no one has ever done. Now, there's always someone that does something that no one's ever done, but there isn't. We'd all agree a 5'5" guy can't do it. So what is the minimum? What is the minimum allowable height?
Well, for one, I think it's different than just the height. When you see that he walked in the same footsteps that Baker Mayfield, and you see all these college coaches changes, you see Cliff Kingsbury get fired in college, Texas Tech, get the offense coordinator job at USC, and then get the head coaching job for the Arizona Cardinals. So the NFL is changing, and our critique of college quarterbacks, it should change with the rules and with this influx of young offensive minds coming into pro football.
So let me throw another wrinkle in there. This idea of autocorrection, right, of these teams that look back last year, because last year at this time, no one had Baker going #1. Very few people did. Now you look back and you're like, oh, well, maybe there's things we didn't see. Where's your feeling on teams now doing this and this autocorrect? Like, oh, maybe we sort of missed on Baker Mayfield, but we should stick here because there's something we might hit on.
I think there's an element of that. And I think C's point of that we are seeing the college game have more of an influence on the pro game than ever before has an enormous element of this. Kyler Murray would not have had a decision to make 15 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, because people wouldn't have been talking about him as a first-round pick. And I understand the Baker comparison, not only because of he skyrocketed up draft boards, but Heisman Trophy winner from Oklahoma. The difference in height between Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray is the same difference in height between Baker Mayfield and Tom Brady. Like, Baker is short.
What's the difference between Kyler and Michael Vick?
What?
Vick was
I think we're going to find out 2.5 inches. He hasn't measured out at the combine yet. University of Oklahoma came out and said he's 5'9" and 7/8 of an inch. That's what they put out that he measured with them.
Okay, Vick was 6 feet.
Vick, so 2.5 inches. Like,
and Michael Vick threw sidearm and was not an accurate thrower of the football, and he was the first pick in the draft. So I think that Kyler, even 15 years ago, there would have been a team to giving him a chance. When you put up the type of numbers that he did, unless you're just going to avoid all those numbers, those numbers, sheer throwing numbers, his passing efficiency at Oklahoma, you can't ignore that. That, to me, I'm going on the skill. And I do believe someone is eventually going to be able to do this since they've changed the rules. I didn't think someone would do it when they had the old rules because it was about being big, physical, and if you couldn't see in the pocket, now the rules, you can't land on the quarterback. There's so many things you can't do to the quarterback, and his speed and playmaking ability, I believe, is very, very special. I believe he'll be a top 10 pick, and I believe he'll be a starting quarterback next season in the NFL.
What is there a number you'd be looking for his hand size, C? Because I know you focus on that a lot.
No, because I've seen some big guys with small hands that can throw the ball. I've seen some big guys with big hands that can throw the ball. It's one of the attributes with pass catching and throwing the ball. Yes. Do we have people who throw the ball well and don't have big hands? Of course we do. This kid is special. You can see it, how he delivers the ball, his ball handling, his play fakes. He's a playmaker and a leader. No one expected him to do what he did last season. So I'm going to be one of the people going to expect that he's going to make this jump and be that starting quarterback in the NFL.
All right, let's take a break there. Talk some
Just
basketball.
mark this day because he's going to look at me. I don't know how many years.
I hope I do. I hope I'm wrong.
My guy.
I hope I'm wrong.
I hate to say it.
It would thrill me to say I was wrong about Kyler.
You never are thrilled when you say it.
On this one, I would be happy to be wrong.
Your face is down.
Talk some Celtics on the other side. Is it time to point the finger at Brad Stevens? That's next on First Things First. And you can always check us out on the Fox Sports channel on Sirius XM. We're back right after this. All right, carry on, guys.
No, I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for Kyler Murray.